Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Hey. I hope y'all have been having an amazing week. I've been having a good week myself. Nothing too crazy. Been just trying to get my life together per usual, like everybody else. Who is not trying to get their life together? I'm gonna go ahead and open up my beverage right now. I'm just gonna drink an Alani for some energy because your girl needs it. I hope you guys have a nice cold beverage. Cheers if you do. So let's just go ahead and hop into this video. Over the past week, I did go ahead and put like a little poll on one of my Instagram stories. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, I highly recommend, because like I told y'all in the past, I do try to include you guys in future videos. So if you guys have any recommendations or what you guys prefer to watch, definitely let me know on Instagram. You can also leave a comment here below too. I'm pretty on top of keeping up with my comments. I try to make sure I am. Even if it takes me like a day or two to get to it, I still will respond. So always let me know. But I gave you guys a poll on my Instagram stories the past week, giving you guys some options of what you guys wanted to see. And basically, long story short, you guys chose a Q&A with a repot. The next thing you guys wanted to see was my struggling plants. So I kind of meshed the two together. I have like 2 or 3 plants that are struggling. And then I have one plant that I kind of just want to repot because it's that time for it. I have my soil mix right here already pre-made, and I have a few plants in front of me. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into it, let you know what's going on with them while I answer some of you guys' questions. All right, so gotta roll up my sleeves here. I'm gonna go ahead and start with my first plant that I'm mostly concerned about right now. And the reason why I'm mostly concerned about it is because I've had this specific plant since I can remember. Like, it's been in my collection for a very long time, and I've never had a problem with it. Never. So now that I don't want to lose it. I'm scared I'm going to lose it. Sorry, I'm getting kind of distracted because my dog just walked into the room and you can hear his little nails hitting the floor. So I apologize. But let me show you the plant. And I'm pretty sure I've showed you guys this plant before, which is my silver scindapsus. I've showed you guys this plant in the past. She was very full, very thick, very healthy. And she kind of just took a turn for the worse, and I'm not too sure, honestly, why. As you can see, she has very, very bright yellowness. Her leaves, some leaves are like curled up and some aren't. So I don't think it's a, I think that's like a web. I don't think it's like a watering problem because I'm pretty on top of watering her. Anytime I start to see her leaves curl in slightly is when I know that it's time for her to be watered. But what I've been noticing is that when I do water her and I put her back, like the following days after is when she starts to form these yellow leaves, and then they end up just falling off. So that's why she has like this bare stem right here, this long node, because obviously the yellow leaves, once they turn yellow, they're just gonna fall off. So I just really don't want to lose this plant. I've had her in my collection, like I said, for a very long time. I don't think she's outgrown this pot either. She's not root bound. There's no roots sticking out the bottom. She has good drainage. Her soil doesn't look bad. But what I'm thinking is going on, what I think might be going on with her is that she needs a refresh. Her soil needs to be freshened up. And I do want to just take a look at her roots to see what might be going on, for anything that's going on in there. But ever since I got this plant, which it has definitely been years, I've never changed her soil. I never repotted her, nothing, because I've never had an issue with her. But like I said, she's not root bound. And even if she was, these plants do tend to like to be a little root bound. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and repot her. I don't think I'm gonna upsize her pot or anything like that. But I'm just gonna freshen up her soil and see what's kind of going on with her root system. So we're gonna go ahead and do that first. I'm gonna grab a tray or something to put her old soil in first, and I'll be right back. Okay, I found this little dusty, crusty tray in my backyard, so I'm just gonna use that, and we're just gonna pour out her old soil and see what's going on. But meanwhile I do that, let me just go ahead and pull up one of your guys' questions. Hello? If I can find it. Okay, I'm not doing this in any order. I'm just gonna skim through them. But let's see. Let's go ahead and do this one since we're on the topic of freshening up her soil. So first question is, okay, I'm gonna just read it how they wrote it too, because it makes me laugh. It says, soil girl, soil. Ready to go potting mix or creating your own mix? I get so confused. So if you guys should buy ready to go potting mix, like from a bag, I'm assuming from the store, or make your own mix. That's a good question, because I know for a fact I was very confused at first when I started my plant collection. I remember when I first started my plant collection, I didn't even know that plants needed to eat. Like, I didn't know that they needed like fertilizer or anything like that. Like I thought you just water them. Everything looks okay. I don't see any mold or anything like that growing in there. Yeah, I just thought you watered plants and that's how they live, just off of water. But the more I got into plants and did research, the more I realized like they need a lot more than just water. So real quick, I'm just gonna show you guys what I'm looking at. And since I knew I was gonna do like a repot, I did skip watering this one because like I said, I don't think the issue is watering. I think it's something else. So I didn't want it to be like drenched when I repotted her. So she is a little dry, but let me try to pull her close to you guys. So to me, first thing that I'm noticing, that I'm looking at, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. It's not that big. I need to calm down. Do you guys see that though? Why? Why does this always happen to me? It's like they're attracted to me or something. What does that mean? Does that mean something? And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. There's a big ass spider in this soil. Can that be what's wrong with my plant? My plant is dying because it's rejecting the spider living in it. Oh my God, that's huge. Okay, it's not huge. Let me not be dramatic because I know it's not humongous, but it's a big spider. It's not a baby. It's okay, it's right there. What do I do? No. I caught it. It was trying to escape into my house. Ugh, imagine if I touched it. See, that's where I can't be thinking of that stuff because then I'm gonna start thinking that there's 2 or 3. They had a family and now one of them's on me. Okay, here it is. Can you guys see that? I really hope you can. Ooh. We're gonna put that to the side because I'm not gonna kill it, but my fiance has to deal with that. Oh, man, why does this always happen to me? I swear. I swear. This doesn't even live outside. It doesn't even, it lives in my house. Okay, let me come back. Let me come back from that. First thing that I'm noticing is that the roots don't look bad. They don't even look like they're dried out or anything like that. So that's how I know that they're obviously like a little dry from this past watering, not getting watered, but not like shriveled up, like it's been neglected. I have missed multiple waterings. It's not like that. It's just like a little dry. They look honestly healthy otherwise. Like I said, it's not like extremely root bound, like maybe a pinch, but nothing crazy other than that freaking spider living in here. So I'm just gonna remove all the soil and freshen up these roots. Make sure there's no other critters. You guys, I might have found the problem. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna finish taking off the soil and then I'll show you guys. I found the problem though, for sure. So anyways, back to that question. Soil from like a bag you just buy at the store or homemade soil? For me personally, I do both. I personally have bought so many bags pre-made from the store that I've used on my plants, and I've made my own soil. So it's kind of both for me. Me and my fiance actually compost. We have our compost outside, like our giant compost that we turn like ever so often to make sure it's mixed. Basically what I do is I buy the soil mixture from the store, and it has, like I said, perlite in it. It's like indoor potting mix. I bring it home, and what I like to add to it that's been working for me is I like to add extra perlite because I just love perlite. Like I don't think you could go wrong with perlite. It just brings your plant so much more air, because my biggest concern is root rot, and when you don't have a chunky soil mix, you tend to get root rot a lot more. So I add more perlite even if there's perlite in the pre-made mix. Then I also like to add things like chunky bark, like this little chunky bark right here piece. I like to add that in my soil. You can even add a leca, which are like these little balls right here, also add chunkiness. And I like the chunky perlite, like the big little rock form perlite. And yeah, that's pretty much what I like to do. You can add so much more though. You can add like cocoa coir, charcoal, things like that, pumice. Like there's it can go on, and that's what I'm saying. Like there's so many options out there, so it gets like really confusing what to do. But honestly, just play with it. For the most part, the plants that I own in my collection, all of them pretty much love a chunky soil mix. Never a tight pressed only soil. I don't think I have any plants in my collection that are in like a tight pressed only soil mixture. If you're really curious to changing up your soil, I would recommend doing some research on the plant that you want to repot and seeing what they tend to like, buying those ingredients and making your own. But now that I'm more deeper into my collection, I have over 250 houseplants and possibly like an extra 200 outside plants. I make my own at the end of the day, but I also use what I have. Sorry guys, I had to go get my package that just got delivered, and I'm pretty sure I know what this is. I'm so excited. Should I open it right here so I can show you guys, because it's plant related? Let me get my scissors. Okay, I couldn't find my scissors. Don't read my address. Don't look at it. Yep, it is. Oh yeah, look what I got. I got some new Barina lights. And, oh yeah, I forgot I got this. I'm so excited because I'm pretty sure that's what this is. What is this? It has no name on it. Well, I'll tell you what I think it is, because my last video where I was talking to you guys about all these plants, but I knew none of the names. I felt so bad when I was editing that video, because I feel like I should know the names for you guys, just in case you guys want that plant in the future. So I bought a little portable, what's this called? I'm having a brain fart. Label printer. So I can print out the name and stick them on the pot like a responsible person, and I can tell you guys the name whenever I make a video, because I have short-term memory loss and I could never remember the names unless it's like a plant that I've had in my collection for years. And then I got this new set of Barina lights because I'm gonna officially be redoing my cabinet in the future, and I got black ones so they'll match my aesthetic a little bit better, because my fiance got the ones that are in there right now and they're white ones, which I was like, how dare you? Like, you should know me by now. But I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. But I want black ones because it bothers me and I have OCD. So I changed the color.
2,000 years later.
Okay, so let me show you guys what I think the problem is. Well, I'm pretty sure this was the problem. And I should have known. I don't know why I didn't think of this. I really didn't think of this, but I should have known. Like I said, I never repotted this since I've gotten it. And if you guys can see what I'm looking at, I took all the soil out. You see these brown chunks? They're wrapped in that cloth that the stores do. There's at least 1, 2, 3, 4 cloths wrapping up the roots, so they're not able to grow. I hate when stores do this. Why do they even do this? I was gonna use my kitchen knife, but let me not. Look, I'm gonna set you guys free. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know, I promise. I'm gonna try to do this without ripping out the roots. Here's one. So in the future, I'm definitely gonna make sure that like I said, it's been a few years, so I should have repotted this plant. But it was doing fine. That's why I didn't. So in the future, I'm gonna make sure that especially when they come from like Home Depot, Lowe's, those type big box stores, make sure you're repotting your plant, not right away. You don't have to do it right away, because I like to let plants settle in my home for a little bit before I do much to it. And besides, like, you know, making sure they don't have pests and stuff like that. But for a repot, I do like to wait a little bit before I do anything, because I just don't want it to go into more shock and then end up unaliving itself with me. But at least, you know, 6 months in or something, I will definitely take a look at the roots to prevent this from happening, because this is definitely probably why it's starting to yellow all the leaves, because it's not able to grow as much because it's being strapped down by this cloth. On top of that, I do think it's also time for me to just freshen up the soil. So I'm hoping that it makes a comeback after this, because I really don't want to lose this plant. Like I said, I don't think this one needs to be upsized or anything like that. These are the roots. They don't look bad. They just needed to breathe. They needed to be free. So I'm gonna put her back in here with some fresh soil. So, and we didn't lose a lot of roots, thank goodness. So we're gonna put her back in here. I'm gonna put some soil. I'll also remove those yellow leaves too in a little bit. I've learned that I do like to leave like an inch of pot sticking up from the soil, like an inch from right here from the soil, if you can see that, because when I water it, it doesn't overfill and doesn't take the soil out of the pot while I'm watering. And I'm gonna remove these yellow leaves. You know what I'm gonna do, because it's so straggly at the top now, is I'm probably gonna, even though I like my girls lengthy, I'm probably gonna intertwine one of these, the one that has hardly any leaves on it anymore. I'm gonna intertwine it into the pot. And I think that's this one. Yeah, definitely this one. So all of this has no leaves. So I'm gonna go ahead and intertwine. If I had a bobby pin, I would bobby pin her down so she's more attached to the soil, but I don't have one. So I'm gonna go ahead and just make sure I water her really good. And when I water her, I'm gonna try to tuck the nodes in a little bit better. Other than that, I'm gonna leave these ones hanging, because these ones do have leaves on them. So it's gonna look something like this now instead. I can probably twine this one at least once, but she looks a little crazy, not so happy, not so thick and luscious, but I think she'll have a really good comeback, and I will give you guys an update, let you guys know how that went. I'm making a huge mess, but I will clean it up after I'm done. All right, so next plant we're gonna go ahead and do is going to be these guys, 1 and 2. Same exact plant. These are going to be ZZ plants, but I just thought it was time that I combined them into one pot, because I don't need 2 of them in my house. It just takes up more space, and I think I would like it better if I just had one big one. So other than that, they're healthy, they're doing well, no concerns. So I'm just gonna basically combine them into one pot. And the pot that I brought for them is this one, which is this giant designed heavy terracotta pot. And I'm gonna probably use the same soil that it's in and then add some of my own, and that's pretty much it. So I'll also answer a different question while we're doing that. Let's see. Okay, let's do this one. If you could only have one plant genus, which one would it be and why? What is the pest you have trouble with the most? What is your current favorite plant? Okay, so that's like 3 questions in one. So let's go ahead and start the first part, which is if you could only have one plant genus, which one would it be and why? If I could only have one plant genus, why would you even ask me that? That's such a hard question. Why would you do this to me? Put me in this situation. I'm just kidding. Dang. I love so many plant genuses. That's so hard. I would have to say if I could only have one plant genus, I'm gonna just, the first thing that comes to my head is philodendron. And it makes me sad because, like I said, I have so many plant genuses that I love. Wow, look at these roots. I guess it was about time I repotted it anyways because it was definitely root bound and getting a little crispy and dry. Okay. Oh God, okay, it's not a spider. It is a pincher bug though. And those I don't mind as much, but we have millions, so I don't mind killing that one. Sorry. Sorry if you love pincher bugs and you don't want me to kill it, but we have thousands over here, so he's not allowed to be in my house. But I would choose philodendron only because I feel like that's one of the plant genuses that I get surprised by every single time. I'm like, this is a philodendron too? Like, they come in so many different types of shapes and forms and colors, and sometimes like I'll find a plant, I'm like, oh my God, is this a syngonium? Is this a monstera? And then I read it and it's like philodendron. I'm like, no way. Like, they just come in so much different variations that it shocks me. And I just don't think I could ever get sick of them. Like, they don't look, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, they don't all look the exact same. Like, for example, I can't even compare it. I would say, for example, like monsteras, I can kind of be like, that's a monstera for sure, you know? And I'm pretty right most of the time. Even though I love monsteras. Like, that's also one of my favorite genuses. It's just, I can tell exactly when that plant is the monstera. This one isn't too bad root-wise because I think I repotted this one not too long ago. So it's not like extremely root bound, but look how thick those roots are. It's nice. This one got watered not too long ago. Oh, it's gonna be so thick and luscious. I love that. I'm gonna add the soil left over into there. There's some soil, some wet soil at the bottom. This is why I let my plants dry out before I repot. So it's a little bit easier. Okay, whatever. Let me see the other part of that question. What is the pest you have trouble with the most? The most? Honestly, I haven't had a pest problem in a while until I got hit with thrips. And that was the first time I ever got hit with thrips. So I don't have like a pest that like is always trying to attack me. But previously in the past, I also had a problem with spider mites. But once I did treat it, they did go away and I didn't have an issue after that. So I've also in the past did have a millibug outbreak, but I also treated that and haven't had a problem since. So I think I don't like have a constant pest that's always like trying to attack me. I've had all three of them try to attack me and they went away pretty fast once I treated them the right way. But I do stay on top of checking my plants for pests. Every single time I water my plants, I do observe them. So if I was watering this guy, I would also just kind of like glance at the leaves, take a look at them, look at them a certain way to see if like there's a glare of like a spider web or anything like that. You can definitely tell the difference of like a spider web other than like spider mites webs. If you've seen them before, you can tell the difference for sure. But yeah, I don't have like a specific pest that's always trying to attack me. And I also am pretty on top of quarantining my plant. I keep saying pants. I'm pretty good with quarantining my plants when I get a new plant. I don't just immediately put it with my other plants. I'll put it like not far. I won't have it own room for it, but I will put it like on a different table that's kind of like secluded. And lastly, what is your current favorite plant? I'm gonna say my current favorite at the moment that I've been getting like the most excited about. I have two actually that I constantly check daily. Like I will go up to it and just glance at it to make sure nothing crazy is happening to it, because plants can take like a dramatic turn overnight. You never know. I've had it happen to me in the past. The plant looked fine one day, the next day I looked and it was like completely brown and like dead. I was like, what the heck? So I do glance at them like daily for sure. First one is definitely my Monstera Esqueleto. I'm in love with that plant. I love it so much. It's just crazy to me how fast it's like upsizing and how fast it attached to the moss pole that I made it. So I'm so excited for that one. I just really want like a giant Monstera Esqueleto. And then the second one where I definitely have been like glancing at that one on a daily is the one that I showed you guys in my last video, which was the variegated African violet. I love that plant right now. It's so freaking cute. I always check on her. I just want her to thrive. I hope she becomes giant too, and I hope she blooms for me. Fingers crossed she blooms for me. All right, so I'm pretty much done with this one. This is how she's looking. A little cray-cray, but she'll settle in. I think, honestly, too, it's gonna start to grow a lot more with more space. And I'm excited for it to become a big little ZZ plant. Oh, I like how it looks. I like it. It came out good. So cute. Oh, okay, but that terracotta pot is heavy. I don't know exactly when I did it, but in one of my past videos, we created this moss pole for this plant on top of like, I think it was around the same time I created my moss pole for my Monstera Esqueleto and maybe even my silver sword. But this plant just does nothing, like literally nothing for me. It is the exact same since we did the moss pole, has the exact same 4 leaves. This is the last little point. Nothing has came out of it. It's like shriveled up and dry. If you guys can see, I'm gonna bring it closer. Yeah, it's just like dried out completely. No new growth. Doesn't even want to attach to the moss pole. I've tried to guide it into the moss pole and it just doesn't do nothing. Honestly, nothing at all. So I'm kind of just sick of it because taking care of a moss pole is not, you know, I can't just like water it once a week. Like now that it's getting hotter, I've been having to wet my moss poles at least every 2 days, and it's just not worth it for me for this plant because it's not giving me any growth whatsoever. So I don't know what's going on with it. I'm basically gonna go ahead and just chop it up and propagate and start it fresh and hopefully get some growth from that, because I'm just tired of it and I want it to be better. I want it to do better. I love this plant. I don't know if I even said what plant this is. This is the Pariso Verde. I'll put the name written down at the bottom. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and chop this girl up right now. Let me go get my scissors. This is an example of this soil is perfectly fine. It's just a plant that I'm not happy with. So I'm gonna keep this soil for any upcoming potting that I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna just put the soil in here. And we're basically, I'm just gonna chop it so I don't have to really mess with the plant and the root system. I think I'm gonna just chop it right here. It's always like a when you chop a plant, but it's just if I'm not in love with the plant, I'm either gonna take it out of my collection at this point, give it away to somebody, or if I do want to still have it in my collection, I'm just not happy with the growth, I'm gonna go ahead. The reason why that was in the moss pole is because I directed it into the moss pole. I'm gonna go ahead and just chop in between the nodes, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put these nodes into some type of propagation box so I can hopefully regrow this plant out in the future and it can make its own comeback, hopefully, because I do like this plant. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one is a node as well. So we got 5 possible new growth outcomes. I'm gonna go ahead and let those sit so the freshly cut part can go ahead and dry over, and I will go ahead and propagate them later, but that one was a quick one. Let's go ahead and just answer a question. Do you have a, let's see, do you have a large indoor plant on your wish list? For example, a fiddle leaf fig or a ficus Audrey. Also, if you could only have indoor plants or an outside garden, which one would you choose? Oh my God, you guys are giving me hard questions. What do you mean, an indoor plant, or if you could only have indoor plants or an outside garden? Which one would you choose? I love both. That's a hard one. Why would you do this to me? Okay, do you have a large indoor plant on your wish list? I have a fiddle leaf fig already that was a rescue, and it actually did nothing for me for like, I think almost to a year, and we just kept it. I know that they're really sensitive, so I didn't move it, I didn't mess with it, put it in fresh soil, been watering it ever since, and just recently it's been giving me beautiful new growth, and it lives outside, so I'm super excited for that one, and it is a big one. Ficus Audrey, I don't know if I have a large indoor plant on my wish list. A large one, I don't know why. I think as of lately I'm just obsessed with like moss pools, so this plant doesn't start off large, but it can become extremely large, and that's the philodendron verrucosum, I believe. If you know, then you know. I'll write down the name, but I'm pretty sure it's philodendron verrucosum. They're super velvety, dark green leaves, that are in heart shapes, and the back of them have like a redness to them. And I have it in a baby form, but I can't wait till I can put it on a moss pole. And I've seen people with leaves like the size of your head. So I would love to in the future have like a philodendron verrucosum in my collection that's like massive. Yeah, I would love to have a verrucosum. Other than that, you guys always hear me talk about my esqueleto. I want a massive esqueleto. And those are the only ones I can think of right now that I would like want them to be huge, other than like my monsteras, like my Thai constellation. If I can have a huge Thai constellation, I would love that. But yeah, I think that's it. Watch, as soon as I'm like editing this, I'm gonna be like, I should have said this one. Because now that I'm thinking about it, of course, nothing's in my brain right now. Okay. If I could only have indoor plants or an outside garden, that's such a hard question. How can I even choose that? Okay, if you're saying like a garden, like veggies, then I'm gonna say indoor plants because I love plants probably more than I love like gardening. But that's because I haven't really gone into gardening. I have like a few little veggie plants. Like I have jalapeno, lemon, avocado, onion, dragon fruit. I have like a few, but nothing crazy. Like I don't have any garden beds or anything like that. But if you're talking about indoor plants or outdoor plants, that's really hard because I love outdoor plants because they become huge. And with indoor plants, you kind of, they can become huge, but you need help when it comes to lighting. You know what? I'm gonna say indoor. I'm just gonna choose indoor because at the end of the day, the first thought that I have is sometimes I don't go outside, especially if it's like muggy or rainy or cold, or if there's spiders. And I love to look at my plants and touch my plants, and the fact that they live inside with me brings me so much joy because I can always look at them. I can always touch them. I can always mess with them. I can always water them, and that's kind of just my way to escape from daily life and stress. That's my stress-free time. So I would say indoor. And if I ever want a plant to become humongous, I can always supplement with lights, with grow lights. So I'm gonna choose indoor, but that was a very hard question. All right, next plant. I know y'all are gonna judge me for, okay? And it's okay. I deserve it because I did this to myself, but oh my god, I'm so sorry. Okay, let me just start off with saying this plant was also attacked by thrips. So it wasn't just me, okay? It was the thrips, but they didn't make it this bad because then I kind of just neglected it after that. And I was kind of scared to put it back in my house after that because I didn't want thrips to attack my whole collection. So I kind of left it outside, and then it got weather damage from like possibly coldness. And then I did kind of underwater it at a time or two. So it's kind of just all around not great, but I can tell it's full of water right now. It does have this new growth, which I have hope for, which is, oh, let me put this down. This little guy, if you can see right here, has a new growth coming. So I'm glad I'm not going to lose this plant, but it's definitely time to chop this up. It tried to put out this growth and it just dried up and ended up dying. And then it has this growth popping out of here. So it's definitely trying to live, even though I'm not making it easy for it. So I'm debating if I should chop it or just remove the dead parts and keep it living but little. What to do. Okay, well, let me just start off by chopping it and see how I feel. And let me see if let me go to the next question. Next one is gonna be any wish list plants. Yes, of course. Of course I have wish list plants. If I can just buy a plant that I already just had on the top of my head, I would, because if there wasn't money involved, I definitely would. But I have a lot. I have a lot of wish list plants. I'm gonna cut it right here. And I kind of just write them down in like a folder I have in my phone. And then whenever I'm like in the mood to splurge or I have extra cash to splurge, I definitely look at that. But I haven't splurged in a while. I've been pretty good. But at the top of my head, one of the wish list plants that I do have are, I might just let it grow because it doesn't look horrible. I feel like it can have a comeback, especially since it has this growth point. Maybe I'll put it in my grow cabinet like this. Should I change out the soil? Let me see. Let me see how we're looking. Oh. Ooh. Maybe I should repot that. No, that's gonna be too much. It's trying to heal, it's trying to grow, plus a repot. It might be too much for it. Especially with this baby. I don't want to repot it and then this baby doesn't make it, because this is my only hope that I have right now for this guy. So I think I'm just gonna leave it as is. I don't think I'm gonna chop it up. I just freshened it up by a little chop of the dead leaves and just leave it as is. I don't think I'm gonna chop it up just because the roots did look pretty good. It has a lot of roots, right? Yeah, look at that. Those roots look pretty good. So I'm not gonna chop it. We're just gonna leave it as is. Hopefully it freshens it up a little bit. Soil fell in my sleeve. I'm just gonna leave it as is. I don't even know if I told you guys what plant this is. This is Philodendron gloriosum. And I love this plant. This plant is so beautiful. It's the velvety, like suede type. And I love it. Like this leaf, when it first came out, was beautiful. This one was beautiful. And it just makes me so sad. So soft, beautiful, heart-shaped, velvety, everything. So I really hope it does make a comeback, and I really want this one to grow big too. So we shall see. But, oh yeah, wish list plant. Let me see my notes. Let me check. All right, so I went ahead and checked my wish list on my little notes, and I did have a few, but the top 3 that came to mind when I looked at that list was, first things first, is a variegated Thanksgiving cactus. I would really love to have a variegated Thanksgiving cactus. I adore those plants, especially I watch Wild Fern, her videos, and I see her Thanksgiving variegated cactus, and it's just so beautiful. I'm like, oh my god, I would love to have that plant because I love my regular Thanksgiving cactus so much. Other than that, I also want Philodendron Jacqueline. No, just kidding. Alocasia Jacqueline. Alocasia Jacqueline, which that one I've been eyeing and I have seen at stores, I'm not gonna lie, but the price point didn't fit the plant, so I just didn't get it. But the next time I do splurge, I think I might get that one. I really like that one. I like how crazy it looks. I like how big it gets specifically. So Alocasia Jacqueline for sure. And then the last one, I'm gonna just give you guys 3, okay? Last one is Hoya linearis. I love that Hoya. I don't have too many Hoyas in my collection, but if I were to add another one, it would be that one for sure. So yeah, those are gonna be my top 3 wish list plants for right now, and trust me, it always changes. Well, I'm pretty satisfied with what we did today. I will definitely be giving you guys an update later on about how these plants did, how they're doing, how they're growing, and all of that good stuff. Thank you so much for watching. I definitely had so much fun filming this video, my first ever Q&A, and you guys asked some really good questions, so I definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much. If I didn't answer your question, I'm so sorry. That's pretty much all the time that we got today, but thank you guys for joining me and helping me figure out these planty situations. Like I said, I wouldn't do it if y'all didn't enjoy watching these videos, so I appreciate you guys. As always, don't forget to like this video if you do like it, and don't forget to subscribe. I love you guys, and I hope you guys have an amazing weekend, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.